So I've been using my Floss cabinets for side tables for my bedroom until I could find something else. But now that I've got things moved around, I need to get my Floss put back in my cabinet. So I stole the one on Dale's side. I'll show you that in a minute, and put a chair there. And I need to get my fancy floss put away. So, right now, because I haven't been able to get into that cabinet, it has been stored in here. Like that and that. I don't like that because this is my sewing cabinet and I don't want these things to be in here. So I am going to put them in the cabinet that they belong in. Just a sec and I'll go show you that cabinet. Okay, so this is the hutch, and I have it backed up a little bit because it's weird angle. But this is the jewelry box that I bought for holding my fancy floss. I have one also for my DMC, which is an even bigger one. But this is what I bought to house my fancy floss. And you saw earlier what I keep my I've been keeping it in because I've been using this as a side table on my bed because we bought a new bed, well, new to us bed, and it's really tall. So this is actually just a little bit higher than the bed. So right now my husband gets a chair because I don't have tables for it yet. The tables that came with the bed, I couldn't fit in my bedroom. So long story short, no, not short. Anyways, this is what I bought to put my fancy floss in. And if you're, depending on where you're watching, I'm going to do this on both channels, but you guys will have to let me know how annoying that is. Anyways, I bought, it's a jewelry box. I don't actually intend on having anything go in the top because I want to put stuff on top. Okay, so anyways, I had to make sure I wasn't cutting my head off because you know how I do that. All right. Anyways, my husband helped me already alter this cabinet, and it used to have on the sides, it used to have the little hooks that you hang your necklaces and stuff on, and I replaced that with these bars that I can take on and off and hook my fancy floss onto it, either with my floss drops or with their container, their tags. And both sides are done like that. And this one I think has something in it. Nope, I don't have anything in this one. Yeah, so both sides are done, and that's where I plan to hang most of my used opened fancy flosses. And so then in the drawers, this is all going to get redone. I already have the felt. I'm going to refelt it, and then I'm going to paint it, and I want to do some decoupage on it and make it pretty, that kind of thing. But yeah, I paid close to nothing for this. I love it so much. Anyway, it's got a ton of storage in it. So the worst part is that I have just been throwing in my floss and stuff into these drawers because I haven't been able to actually get to it where it was. And so I need to do a little bit of organizing. As you can tell, we got a hot mess going on there. And then in these drawers, I actually have my DMC extra, but now that I have a place to put all this stuff, I want to move the fabric that I have in my, it's a long story. Anyways, this has got DMC floss in it because fancy floss I leave hanging. It comes on a tag. Anyways, I wanted to show you what the basic cabinet looks like. We put it on wheels because everything should go on wheels. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all my fancy floss into the wings, hopefully here, and then go through the drawers because they're a hot mess and I have no idea what's in them anymore. So yeah, that's the organizing, tidying, cleaning project for the day because I'm tired of hunting down floss. All right, I'll be back. I sped this part up and cut out a whole bunch of it because this took me a long time. But I wanted to show you kind of where I was working with, and then I forgot these. This cabinet has to be, like I said earlier, this cabinet has to be redone. I don't know if they dropped it or what, but the doors don't like to close and open. I mean, they don't like to stay open and they don't like to close. So the hinges need to be redone on them. Well, basically replaced. But basically, I want to just have it all separated by color-ish tones. I don't really care if it's separated by brand. I tried to do that. I tried to do numbers and all of that kind of stuff. And what I found was that I didn't go searching for a number or a brand. I went searching for colors. Or the colors help narrow it down faster than trying to go through all the numbers and colors, names of the brands and stuff. So I just went through and now the only reason I put these on different rings and that kind of stuff was because they hang different than each other. So, that was the basic reason. But I did it for all the colors. I did red, pink, and purple, and then I did yellow and orange, and I ended up having to add the creams later to that, but I didn't show that here. And then yellow and orange are together, blue and green are together, and then brown, black, gray, and white were together. And whites are hard because they are not all white. But anyway, so this was the basic way I organized them, and eventually these will be all on their own little hooks and all that kind of stuff. But for now, this at least gets my fancy floss into the cabinets, and I love these keychain holder things. Basically, they have a little nut and screw, and they screw into each other so they never come apart. And yeah, I'm not going to deal with these drawers. I dug all the floss out of it that was just randomly loose, and then off camera I dumped it in a box. I had great intentions of going through and doing all of this stuff, and oh my gosh, I just thought, how long have I been doing this? This has been a long time. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go put it in the places that it belongs in, and then I will come back and organize the rest of these drawers. Plus, I need to get the other cabinet out of my bedroom. So once that happens, I can continue. Okay, I think this is where we're going to call it for today because this took a while. It doesn't seem like it, but it took a while. And I got to go back and I got to put away some that I found stuffed in a drawer. Those need to go somewhere else. There's this whole thing. And then that needs to go in my DMC cabinet. But I think for today, we did pretty good. Now we have all of our colors. We've got red, pink, and purple on the top, and then blue and green. And then as I use these, they'll go on these. And then they'll just hook there, and eventually all of these will look like that. I could get, really anal and divide them all up by colors there, but I think one thing per rack is going to be close enough to work, because I'm not that neat and tidy, I'll be honest. So there's those, and then here is the browns, the yellows and oranges, and then I don't have good light here. Hold on, let me roll it. Whee. Hold on, Soph. Okay, there we go. So, and then we've got like the whites, light cream ones. I'm not really sure where to put those because I don't really feel like they're yellow. They're more a brown tone than a yellow tone. And then, of course, oranges and yellows. I do have, like I've got these miscellaneous ones. I do think I'm going to keep these in a drawer just because it's going to be pretty rare that I use odd colors like that. The other thing I have, excuse me, are some random sets of floss. And and I'm not sure what to do about them. If I should divide them by color and put them also with their colorway and just not worry that they're different brands, or keep the brands together. So what do you think about that? But yeah, so anyways, that's what I've got so far. And then eventually I want to do that to my DMC cabinet, but I don't have a replacement for it in my bedroom yet. So, and yeah, I think I'm going to take a lot of this stuff out and put it in my crafting and sewing stuff so that this stays just floss, cross stitch floss stuff. And then the rest of this would go in a different cabinet. Yeah, see, like I have one-offs. They're beautiful, but I just, I don't know what to do with them, to be honest. And then I have these, which are silks. They're the only silks I own. I think I got them as a gift from a fabric dyer. And so I think I'm going to keep them in a drawer because I don't want them to get all ratty either. And then this is all my DMC backup floss, and it needs to go in that other cabinet. But so anyways, that is what I've got so far. It's always just a work in progress, always just a work in progress. But I am going to finish going through these drawers. You don't need to watch that because I'm not going to organize or anything. I'm just going to take the crafty stuff out and throw it in the crafty drawer. And that's going to be a down the road project. And then I'm going to put this floss away that I have sitting over here. And that should take care of that. And then I'm going to roll this out there. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I know this wasn't super exciting, but I'm really glad to finally be able to dig into this project and put my stuff away in its forever home, because that is my goal for 2025, is to renovate our whole house and have everything have forever homes, which I call stations. I feel like this is a fancy floss station. So now I know where to go to get my fancy floss. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.